Marko here from Fair Realty, Victoria, BC. Today I'm going to talk about why it's become very, very difficult to sell tenanted properties, especially in the last 12 months. Historically speaking, it's always been more difficult to sell tenanted properties in relation to owner-occupier properties or even vacant properties. A number of reasons for this. For example, booking showings is more difficult with tenanted properties as the tenants have to be provided the correct notice as per the Residential Tenancy Act. Tenanted properties typically don't show as well as owner-occupied properties, etc. But what's made it so much more difficult to sell a tenanted property in the last 12 months? Well, a year ago, the BC government changed the notice period that has to be provided to tenants when a property is sold. It used to be 2 months, then last summer it was changed to 4 months, and then the government moved it back to 3 months. So essentially it increased from 2 months notice to 3 months notice, which on the surface doesn't seem like a big deal, but let me explain to you why it's a very big deal and it's made selling tenanted properties almost impossible. So right now, there's no investors in the marketplace looking to purchase properties and take on tenants. So what we have in the marketplace for the vast majority is owner-occupiers, which means they want vacant possession of a tenanted property they're purchasing. The 3 months notice is actually 3 to 4 months because it doesn't kick in until the start of the next pay period. So let me give you a concrete example. Today is June 24th. I'm filming this video on June 24th. If I made an offer on a tenanted property right now as a buyer, I would probably have 10 days of conditions. That would take me into early July. Notice cannot be given to the tenant until conditions are removed. So I would remove conditions as a buyer. I would provide a letter to the seller to issue notice to the tenants. That 3 months notice would not start until August 1st. So it would go all of August, all of September, all of October. As a buyer, the earliest vacant possession I could have on a tenanted property is early November, and I'm writing the offer on June 24th. We're looking at a 10-year high in inventory. There's plenty of properties out there that are owner-occupied, that are vacant, where the buyer can get possession in 2-3 weeks or a month. What buyer right now in June is looking to buy a property where they're going to take possession in November? Most people right now are looking to either complete in July and August, especially if they have kids, so they can settle them in for the school year. Or imagine if you're listing a tenanted property in September, the earliest vacant possession is in January. What buyer is going to be looking for a property in September looking to complete in January? And this is why it's become very difficult to sell tenanted properties. Buyers have all these other options, and it's a buyer's market for a lot of market segments where they can pick the completion possession date they want. So why would they make an offer in June and wait till November? This slight tweak from 2 months to 3 months has actually made a very big impact. I've definitely struggled to sell tenanted properties this year. For example, there was a condo downtown. We had a tenant in place. It wasn't selling. 45 days into the listing, the tenant gave notice because she found another place. She moved out, and then we sold that condo right away. And when we sold that condo vacant, the completion possession was only 10 days after conditions are removed. The 3 months notice has introduced a lot of other variables into it. For example, I had buyers buy property this year. They're going to be owner occupying it. They gave notice. So the landlord issued notice, and then the tenant actually only has to give 10 days notice back. The tenant gave 10 days notice back relatively early on into the 3 month notice period. My clients financially and the way they structure things, they were not able to move up the date. So now that property is sitting vacant for 2 months. But long story short, this slight tweak is making things very difficult in terms of selling tenanted properties. And it's going to be interesting to see going forward if in a few years the market does tighten up. Will buyers come back to tenanted properties and be willing to accept completion possession dates that are up more than 4 months out, sometimes from the date of writing the offer? That's it for this week. Marko, Juras, Fair Realty.